Hello, this is wmpyr here to review the LLC Knife. LLC stands for Lapu Lapu Corto. A lot of times I get asked, what kind of knife do you recommend? And, since I train and teach Filipino martial arts, it only makes sense that that's what I recommend. And this is a Filipino martial arts knife. This is a modern Filipino martial arts knife. Traditionally, you could pretty much say that, like for silat, which is an Indonesian martial art, their main knife is the karambit. And for Filipino martial arts, I can almost say that the bali song seems to be one of the main traditional knives of the Philippines. But once again, for a modern one, the Lapu Lapu Corto is fits right in. There are other Filipino martial arts knives made, today, modern ones. But yeah, this is definitely one of them, and this is one that I've grown very, very familiar with and developed a big liking to it. I mean, first of all, it stands out. I mean, just look at that. look at that ramp. I mean, there's no question. There's no two ways about it. When you look at it, it's like, just look at that. It almost looks like a cockpit for like a race car or something like that. Man, it's the dorsal fin, right, on a shark. It is a mega dorsal fin that sticks out, and there's reason for that. And then so right here, you could use that to pop the blade open, and man, what a blade this is. I mean, it's a sword, and that's exactly it. This is based off of the historical Persian style sword. So yeah, this is the Lapu Lapu Corto, the LLC knife with a Persian blade on it. If you go to their website, which I will put the link below, they have several blades with the exact same handle, this handle right here, with different blade shapes. How cool is that? I think that's awesome that they give you those kinds of variations. And if I'm not mistaken, all of the blade shapes are pretty much, they come from historical warriors and, legendary swords and whatnot. So, yeah, how awesome is that? So this one is from the Persian style blade shape. And yeah, like for combat, it makes total sense. For EDC utility, I was like, I'm not sure about that, but after using it, I haven't had any problems whatsoever. Because the point is so up. Once again, like for combat, you could stab like at weird angles. It's great. It is great. But for utility, I wasn't quite sure. No. Do not have a problem with it whatsoever. And I've grown accustomed to it. Yeah, I've become quite fond of this shape. Now, my favorite one, I have to say, is the spear point. Yeah, yeah, that's my personal favorite. But this is very nice. I do like this. Okay, so let's take a closer look. Damn, look at that, boy. I like the logo right there too. Let's see. Can you guys see that logo? How freaking cool. So on this side, you can see the maker's brand there. Let's see if you guys can see that. And you see these dots right here. This is supposed to let you know that just from even in low light conditions, you touch that and you go, oh, okay, this is the live blade version. So how clever is that, right? Just some little extra screws in there to let you know, just by feel, even in low light conditions, that this is the live blade version. And look at that. Look at this right here. The trainer version only has one sticking out right there. So I think the crimpet version has two, and the live blade, as you can see right here, has three. So it's also color coded. So the live blade is in black, or it could be in some other color like camo or something like that. And trainer is always red. Trainer is always red. Man, and by the way, don't you think it's so nice to have a trainer version of your knife, especially when you're talking about like tactical knives? I feel like it's a must. You need to have that because the training and the practice is 90% of the time, or should be. And I mean, if it's not, and live blade is 90% of the time, you must live a very rough life. You're always in war. You're always in combat. That's scary. Psychologically not healthy. But yeah, for most people, training should be most of the time where it's spent. So it only makes sense to have a trainer. Um, anyway, this right here, like I said, is the live blade is black, or could be some other color. Trainer is always red, and then the blue handle is reserved for non-lethal but still made for self-defense. So it's not really for training; it's for actual usage, but it's not a blade. So that's blue. Anyway, let's talk about the, gosh, there's so many things to talk about. There's a lot of things about this knife. Every little crick and nanny, every little detail has been thought thoroughly through and through. The professor, Bram Frank, has spent years and years and years working on pretty much the same knife, just different versions, I think he likes to call them species. Yeah, different species, but they all belong in the same family. They're all the same genetic evolution, so to speak. The same, the same branch of evolutionary tree. So here is the spoon clip, very unique clip right there. And the reason for that, for the spoon clip, is this indentation right here matches the indentation right there, and also over here there's two, and that allows for, when you're holding it with your finger like this, for easy grip change, where you could swing it like so, and switch grips no problem. The other thing about this knife is that it's slender, especially for its size, for its length. It is quite slender, and I remember reading in one of Professor Bram Frank's books, he said that his first knife was a very slender model, and so I'm thinking that's why he remembers that first knife that he fell in love, that made him fall in love with knives, and yeah, he still has that going. Isn't that cool? So um, it's nice and sleek. And then the grip itself, you feel comfortable. It's almost like a slight pistol shaped grip, and so you could feel comfortable holding it like this, up, choking it up more up here. I mean, there's all kinds of areas and different ways that you can grip this knife and feel comfortable. I mean, it's definitely, the handle design is well thought out, and it has grooves and whatnot, and a hump on the back and stuff to really fit in with your grip in various grip formations. So I think that really comes with the professor's wisdom of Filipino martial arts, and understanding that there are different grips that is utilized for self-defense and combat. So man, like I said, this knife has really been well thought out in that sense. Right here, this is the lanyard hold. Let me show you guys. It's extra large. It's not just a circle. He made it extra large, so that's one of the improvements that he made compared to the original LLC. And another one is right here. This dot, it actually has it sticks out, so it's not just an indentation. Now it actually sticks out a little bit too, and he said that was for pocket retention. So you could hold it against your pocket right there, and if you don't want it to come out, it won't. But if you still want to grab this area and use it for swinging and stuff, for changing grips, you could still do it. But it also has that area there to kind of help give some friction to the pocket if necessary, so it doesn't just fall out so easily. So that's kind of the another little clever thing that he did. Zipper teeth all along. I mean, this is something that the original LLC also had. Was, it's just jimping, but the jimping is, a lot more present all over the knife. And, that is for gripping. I saw a video where he was talking about, like, you could put, like, rope or some kind of cordage and do what he calls the Pac-Man cut. So you could have a string right there, and then you cut it this way, and the teeth would help kind of secure the cord a little bit, or the string a little bit. So, that's one of the things. And also for combat, you don't want to drop your weapon. So it definitely grips back. Not to the point where it's painful for you, but no, it definitely grips back. And this area right here, for trapping and hooking during combat, it's definitely there for that as well. So yeah, holy mackerel, guys. Holy mackerel. And I'm not even, that's just, some of the features. There's way more, and the main feature that I gotta talk about. Okay, so you know what? Speaking of which, the puzzle lock right here. This is a unique lock. I mean, you might go, whoa, it looks like a liner lock, but it's, instead of the bottom, it's on the top. Well, yeah, kind of. From my understanding, the construction is totally different. So the puzzle lock is a lot more involved with the blade itself, whereas a liner lock is more like a stopper, So this one, it fits in and locks in. So the puzzle lock is a very, very strong lock. I've never had it fail, and just looking at the design of the puzzle lock, it looks super strong. I haven't done anything to really try to test it, but just the idea of it, I've seen blueprints of how it's supposed to work, and it just makes sense. Just looking at it, even though I am not an expert with that kind of stuff, just looking at it goes, wow, that looks solid, And it's up here so that when you disengage it or whatnot, I mean, you're using your thumb, right? So the thumb is one of your stronger fingers for sure. So it definitely helps with that kind of motion. So that's another thing that has been thought out right there. Let me go back to the pocket clip. It sits high, and some people they have the preference to make this knife sit all the way low, but this one is designed to where it's going to sit high, because in a pocket or whatnot, it's only going to come up to here. And for me, it completely works, because I see that as you got this big old chunk to grab. So when you got to deploy it, all this is going to be sticking out. So that just makes it easier for me to take it out. I almost see it like a samurai sword. It's the hilt, that the whole hilt is sticking out. So you grab that to pull it out. It just makes sense. Imagine if the samurai sword was all the way under. I mean, what are you going to do to grab it to take it out? So I just find it makes sense from that point of view. And one of the major features about this knife is that, yes, it's a knife, but you're getting also a non-lethal impact tool. So 2 tools for the price of one, a non-lethal impact tool and also a knife, and I dig that, man. That just feels like you're getting a bargain right there. So I like that. So the non-lethal impact tool is when it's closed like this. You can see, you just use this. Pretty much any folding knife in the closed position. I mean, you could strike with it that way. You could probably go this way too. But if you look at this one, I mean, it has that ramp sticking out. So you get an extra, thing to strike with, to dig into pressure points, to scrape the face. I mean, you don't have to be a trained martial artist to figure out ways to use this. And as the professor has said, the hammering is one of the most basic fundamental motions that any human being learns at an early age, is this kind of motion right there. The other reason for the ramp is that you can hook things. So I know a lot of people look at this knife and they go, man, if only the pocket clip was in the other direction, you could wave with it. It would be so perfect for waving. Waving is, it's a quick deployment knife, but it's for your pants pocket, period. That's it. Whereas this is designed for just about anything you could hook on. So that's why, it's so large. If it's for your pants pocket, it doesn't need to be this big. That's why the Wave is a lot more compact. But this is, you hook on fingers, you can hook on collarbone, the nostril, the neck. I mean, dude, if you hook on someone's neck, be careful because they might end up becoming lethal. So you hook and then you pull, and then that's exactly what happens. It just, see how fast, how quick the blade deployed right there. Yeah, the quicker you pull, the faster it's gonna make the blade come out. So you definitely got to be careful if you're hooking certain areas, and even on yourself. You could do it on yourself, but I would be very, very careful. I'd rather hook the opponent than myself, for sure, without a doubt. So that's what this ramp is for, deployment wise. But that's the thing, though. If you think about it, you're using this as a non-lethal impact weapon, so it's already in your hand. You don't have to wait till lethal force is required. It's already in your hand. You're defending yourself, and if the situation gets worse, then since it's already in your hand, all you got to do is just find a way to deploy the blade, which can be done, from here, or using this or hooking on something, and boom, the blade's going to be out. But until then, you use it closed and try to take care of the situation. And if you do end up in court, you go, Your Honor, I tried. I tried to take care of it non-lethal. I was using it like this and in the closed position. I could have taken it out with a blade, but I didn't on purpose because I didn't want to go lethal. You have a good case for yourself there. And then the back part right here, this... I don't know what else to call it. The collars, I think the original Spyderco version was called the bull horns. This is a little bit spiky, so you could use that to, hook and stab. And if you use your thumb together, you're now pinching, which, you could use your finger here against the ramp. You can pinch skin that way. So, that can be a very effective tool. There's another area right here that you could dig that in, not just here. And the bottom butt, you can see it has a reinforced chunk of steel in there. So I've struck solid cardboard targets with this. Some of the thicker cardboard that I have, and it punctured right through like no problem. Yeah, you can see that reinforced chunk of metal that's in there just for that purpose. So yeah, this is I really like this knife. It is, to me, very, very well thought out, very unique looking. You get the trainer also, and then if you want a different blade shape, they have different blade shapes available. So yeah. I do like this Persian blade a lot. I do. But some of the other ones, I'm not going to lie, they look awesome. It's almost like I wish I had them all. But yeah, this is very, very cool for me. It is like a mini sword. Like I said, my favorite is the spear point. But man, he's working on more all the time. Every time I check out the website, it seems to be like there is a new blade shape and whatnot. So anyway, I will put down links bottom below, so please check it out. So this is a modern Filipino martial arts. It is called the LLC, the Lapu-Lapu Corto Knife. So that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.